It is a live, so if you see me talking, I'm not talking to myself. I'm not crazy. Well, she says. So yes. So if you're watching tomorrow, if you wanna fast forward a little bit, I don't mind. It's fine. Well, I just wait for a few people to join. But I hope you're all okay. Hope you're all okay out there. I'm ready for the Thursday story. Just if I lower this slightly. Hi, Warwick. She beat ya. She beat you tonight. That's funny. I think it isn't it. Is it your first time being thirsty? I wanted to put my thing in the background. I might do that on a Thursday. Just having it hover there, just like that. How are we all? How are we? Do you want to know what? Do you want to know what's back with a vengeance? Tell me when you can see. Where is it? Can you see? You see that bone there? It's back again. Hey, Hayley. How you doing? How are you? The stupid bone's back. Hey, Phil. Phil's back for Jess Rose Thursday. Woo, woo. Hey, Kelly. Look at you. You're all buses. You're all just coming on in. If you're watching tomorrow, why aren't you here? They're a fabulous bunch. Yeah, it's back. Hey, PJ, how you doing? How are you? How's it going? I can't believe you're all so quick tonight. You're all really quick. No, Warwick, I know that's my elbow. Funny. But this here, hang on, there's my elbow. That's my elbow. So I'm going to cover the elbow bone and then look that there. Can you see the rise there? It's that. I'm going to have a needle again. So I'm going to have to be really careful with my like, comment and subscribe. And I say this and I'll still do it again later. But never mind. Never mind. It's all good. It's all good. I just can't believe it's back again. Woo! Can't believe it's Thursday. Have you all had a good week? Have you all had a elephant woman? Not elephant woman. I suppose. Yeah, because I suppose I was calling myself Quasimodo, weren't I? So elephant woman, Quasimodo. I got a lot now. I got a lot going on. There's a lot going on now. Yeah, it's like another bone. It's a bone. It's not soft. It's hard. It's like another bone. It's really hard. No, they reckon it's carpal tunnel syndrome. I don't know what apparently I've done. My back's a mess, so I can't do a lot. It's not like I'm out there, giving it 10 at the gym or anything. I don't know what's causing it at all. Hi, Evan. You're new. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. They're a good bunch. They've got a bit of a dodgy sense of humour in that group, but you know what? They're fine. They're a good bunch. Is it okay I like wearing girls' blue jeans? That's fine, Evan. We're here for everyone. Hey, Sophie. How you doing? Oh, is it because I'm so loud? Did you hear me? Did you hear me before I start? And it does depend if they're skinny jeans. That could be a question mark, Evan. But other than that, you're good. I'm joking. You can sit there in your birthday suit for all I care, as long as you're watching and you're joining in. You don't need to tell us if you're in a birthday. We're not that kind of channel. So you don't need to tell us if you're in your birthday suit. But if that's what you want to do, you do you. Everyone's here. I like wearing women's baggy jeans. Okay. Good for you. Yeah, so did you hear me? Did I announce myself? I haven't even got to the end yet, and it escalates, doesn't it? It just gets louder. Has anyone heard of this one? Has anyone heard of this? It's all very nice, friendly banter. It is, Phil. There's no malice in any of it. Yeah, I didn't know about this one. That's why I like to bring you on a Thursday night. I like to bring you stuff that you might not have heard of. Stories that you might not have heard of. So I don't know if you've had, but I certainly hadn't. I didn't know about this one until I started researching it, and it was like, oh my God, this poor girl. So, yeah, I'm about to ruin your Thursday night, like we do, like we do. Um, for next Tuesday, just very quickly, I think I've got one for Kelly. Oh yeah, do you actually hear me doing my jingle, Sophie? Because that's crazy. That's crazy if you don't. I know I'm loud. I know I'm loud, but I didn't know I was that loud. But I do or they hear me upstairs all the time like I'm next to them, so I don't know why I'd be surprised that you can hear me there. I really shouldn't be surprised. But it's all about the jingle. It's to cheer us up after what I'm about to do to you. That's my reasoning behind it. Right, okay, I'm gonna leave us all to have a little. She's not just loud, is she? I'm not loud. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Right, I'm gonna begin the story. So if you're watching tomorrow, I'm starting now. Again, there's no timestamp, so I don't know why I'm saying that, because if you're watching tomorrow, you're not gonna know I've said that. But anyway, I'm gonna begin. So if you want to carry on in the comments, I'm going to start. Okay, so this, as the title said, is the absolutely awful, and it is Sophie Lionnet. I think it's Lionnet. I don't think it's Lionnet. I think it's Lionnet. I've heard it pronounced both ways, so don't want to get it wrong, but I'm not. But because she's French, I'm thinking it's Lionnet. So I'm gonna go with that. Well, we're gonna go with Sophie. So I can't butcher it anymore. Right. Okay. So Sophie, stunning girl. When you come off the story, have a look. Gorgeous looking girl. You're gonna see why I've said that in a minute. Right. Her mum is Catherine Devalon, and her dad's Patrick Lionnet. Yes. Now, Sophie, she was born on the 7th of January 96 in a rural town in northeast France. I don't know. I couldn't get the town. I couldn't find the town. Maybe it's me. Maybe I didn't look hard enough. But all I've seen is that it was a rural town. It was in northeast France. So that's a big space, though, isn't it? But that's where we are. Okay. Now, Sophie, the reason I say she's just, she just, from the description I've heard about her as well, she just seemed a very sweet girl. Very quiet, very shy, little bit naive, I've heard said as well. Very pretty, like I say. Just seemed like just a very sweet girl. So that's what I've learned about Sophie. Now, Sophie, one thing about her, she loved kids. She loved kids, and that's what she wanted to do when she grew up. She wanted to do something with relating to children. Now, she did a childcare course once she got to college and passed that and everything else. But she still wasn't too sure what she wanted to do. She didn't know if she wanted to go into teaching, into nursery or anything like that. But she happened to come across an advertisement, and it was an advertisement for an au pair. Now, it wasn't in France, it was actually in London. But she's seen that as a positive. Now, she didn't speak a lot of English. She only knew a small amount of English. But she's seen that as a way to learn English. She gets to do what she loves and learns another language. So she's seen it as a real positive. And plus, the couple she would be working for were also French nationals. So it just seemed ideal to her. So she basically, okay, we're going to leave that there for a second. So that's Sophie, and that's where we are with Sophie. Okay. We're going to move on just for a second to the couple who'd advertised for the au pair. Now, their names were Sabrina Kuda who was around 35, and his name is her partner. She wasn't married to him, but it was a partner. Kusem Maduri. Oh, I'm butchering this, aren't I? Maduni. I think I've got it right. I think so. But he was known as Sam. Okay, so he's 40. Well, you know, he was everywhere I've seen, he's called Sam. So that's what we're going to call him. So Sabrina and Sam, like I say, living in London, they are French nationals. Now Sabrina has 2 boys. Now, bit of an odd one with her and Sam, because they'd actually met back in 2001. But it was a very up and down relationship, and it was very on and off. And so even though they'd met and they'd gone out together and stuff, Sabrina had actually, when on their off periods, she'd actually had children. She had 1 boy with 1 guy, I don't know his name, and then another boy. So when he comes back into her life around about 2014, 2015, she's got these 2 lads. So hence the advertisement for the au pair. Now Sabrina, she was a fashion designer. Very, you can see photos of her, very well put together. She also did some she's a bit of a makeup artist, so very attractive, which I hate saying. I hate saying that. I wish I hadn't said that, actually. But she was. And Sam, he's a financial analysis. Is that the name of a fancy financial analysis? But shouldn't it end somewhere? Anyway, that's what he did. Lost my mind tonight. Now, they were obviously in very good jobs. So they lived in, you can see the footage of it. It's kind of a very big, old looking house. But you know what London's like, it's very expensive to live in. So the house was huge, but it was split into flats, apartments. Okay, but they're flats, but very nice, apparently, very nice, and very expensive. So that's where they were living. And with regards to their relationship, it wasn't the best. And Sam would financial advisor. I think maybe that would, yeah, I think that's better. I've heard analysis, but now I'm saying it out loud. When I heard it and when I've read it and stuff, it made sense. But hearing it come out my own mouth, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So I don't tell these stories until I'm saying it to you. I don't. I try and practice pronunciations, like, and I always butcher them. But the story itself, for the first time, is as I'm telling it to you, on the live. So sometimes I'll be like, what? And that's crazy, because I am prepared. Oh God, this is the problem with a live. My mouth starts running and I give away stuff, and it makes me sound really like I don't know what I'm doing. But it just didn't sound right to me. But anyway, that's what he's possibly a financial advisor. Okay, so I sent myself right off. If you're watching tomorrow, I'm sorry. Just sent myself right off there. If you're watching tonight, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with me tonight. I'm not, sis. I don't know what's happening. So prepared for this one. And I don't know what's happening to me. I have these little mini meltdowns, don't I? I don't know why. I don't know what happens. I mess up once or twice and that's it. Financial analysis, I think that's what it was. Financial analyst. Yes, that's, oh my goodness, analysis. It's my spelling. Oh my goodness, that's what it was. Financial analysis. I knew there was something not making sense to me, and it completely threw me off. I missed the tee off. Okay, all right, okay, back on track again now. It was still playing on my brain. I was like, how have I messed that up? What's going on? Okay, back to it. Okay. So Sam himself, like I say, they were very up and down, and Sam used to just go off for months at a time. So it's a really odd relationship. So we get to, thank you guys. We get to April 2015. Okay. And Sophie comes over for a trial. Of course, you're having someone who's going to spend a lot of time with your kids, so you want to see how the kids get on with someone. But they absolutely loved her. They absolutely loved Sophie. They thought she was great. She was great with them. The boys themselves were 8 and 4, and she was just amazing with them. She was really, really good. So at the end of the trial, they offered her the job. So she had to go back to France and sort out, tie all up loose ends and stuff. So in January 2016 is when she officially begins her role as au pair for the family. And she moves into the London flat. Now, this was only a 2-bed flat. It looks like, even if you've just got the ground floor, looks like it'd be quite big. But it was only a 2-bed. So she actually shared a bedroom with the 2 boys. So she was in there. So it's a constant, constantly being constantly busy. So she'd be always around the kids. She'd have to feed them, take them to school. She took over everything basically, right down to even sleeping in the same room as them. So it's a real. I couldn't do it. Is what I'm trying to say. I couldn't spend that much time, and I think I love my kids. I could with my own kids, but someone else's kids, I'd be like, all right, I'd at least need my own room. I'd at least that, but that's why I'm not an au pair. So loved the job, loved the boys. It was all going very, very well. And as I say on a regular, it's not that kind of channel, so you know where we're going. Now, she slept in the same rooms. She loved it. And Sabrina herself appeared very kind. I'm getting Warwick. I'm struggling tonight, and I did say in 2 words au pair. I'm always saying it as 1 word. Is that what I'm doing? I'm sorry. Okay. I thought I was saying it as 2 words. It's a Brummie accent. You know what? You're gonna have to deal with it. I really thought I was saying it as 2 words. Anyway, right. So yes. So Sabrina herself. Oh, sorry, threw me off. I don't know why I've even caught. I try not to catch the comments. I've been thrown off all round the place tonight. It's not yous, it's me. It's nothing to do with yous at all. I think I'm paranoid over my financial analysis thing. So I'm still back there. So, okay. All right. Let me concentrate because it is an awful case. So, okay. Right. So Sabrina herself, like I say, is she comes across as really nice at first, and she gives Sophie some like makeovers, because Sophie doesn't look, in all her photos, she doesn't seem like she wears a lot of makeup or anything, but she's just a very naturally pretty girl. So Sabrina would give her makeovers, and they got on really well at first, and Sam would do his coming and going and everything else. But so everything was great for the first few months. Okay. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Sabrina's history, so it all will start to make sense. Now, Sabrina, yeah, bit of a handful. Now, there's a man called Mark Walton, and he was actually an ex-boy band member, and he was part of Boyzone. Now, I don't recognise him. I wasn't a huge Boyzone fan. I was more of a Westlife fan. So I was, I'm afraid. But I don't remember him ever being in the group. So I know Westlife had a few episodes as well where they were trying out group members. So I'm thinking, was he one of them, or I just don't remember him. But he was like I say, this ex-boy band member who it didn't work out. So he ended up still going into the music industry, so and doing very, very well for himself. So him and Sabrina came across each other's paths in 2011 when her and Sam was on one of their, off and on stages. So it was an off stage. And it was said that how they met, how the first date went. The reason I'm doing this is when Mark turned up, there was actually another 12 guys there who also thought they were going on a first date with her. And it was for a pyramid scheme. She was a very manipulative woman, was Sabrina. And yeah, it was a pyramid scheme. But he said that she was so manipulative but charming at the same time that he ended up joining her pyramid scheme, even though it wasn't about that. He wanted to take her out, but it was just how it worked. I don't know if anyone else joined it as well on the night. I wonder if they all did, but that's what it ended up being. Anyway, they started a relationship, and Mark says from very early days she was very, very volatile, really volatile. She wouldn't care where she was, what they were doing. This woman would just kick off. Very jealous. She had a very, very jealous streak. Always believed he was up to no good. Now they only went out from 2011 to 2013. Now, when they broke up, she says, "Oh, I'm pregnant." Now, you remember I says the boys are 8 and 4. It said that the 4-year-old belonged to Mark, but we don't know was the boy his or not. But when they broke up, he went back to Los Angeles, which is where he was working and where he now lived. But he would still send her money, which was supposed to be child benefit. That's what it was supposed to be. But she was using it to keep herself in quite a lavish lifestyle and pay the rent and things like that. And she strikes me that she got a good job. She's a fashion designer, so I don't know why she needed his money to pay the rent, but this is where his money was going. Now he continued paying that money, but only for a few months. Now, did he find out that the little boy wasn't his? I'm not too sure. It's all quite vague with that information, but he stopped sending her money. Well, that's where she lost her mind. Loses her mind completely. And she starts accusing him of doing the most bizarre things. The accusations were crazy. First off, she started spreading rumors and online as well, and going to the police to say that he was having relations with his cat. The thing was, he didn't own a cat. This is what I mean. She wasn't quite all there. She'd accused him of stalking her and black magic, so he could get move further up in the entertainment industry. Just the things she come up with were crazy. Now, between 2013 when they broke up and 2015, she'd made 30 reports to the police about this man. 30. just trying to destroy his life because he dared finish with her. And Sam, good old Sam, she'd convinced him that this was true, that this guy was doing things with his cat and was in to black magic and all these really bizarre things. But the police actually end up issuing a caution to her for slander. They're like, enough, no more now. So remember says that Sophie came over in April of 2015. So it was whether that stopping made Sabrina think, right, I've got to fix up, I've got to work for my money. I don't know. But it all sort of ties back into that. Okay. So now you remember I says that for the first few months she was okay. But somewhere in Sabrina's paranoid, jealous mind, for whatever reason, she believed that Sophie was in cahoots with Mark. Remember Sophie, she's come from France. She's a very timid, naive girl, just wants to work with children, really good heart, loves this little family that she's became a member of. Mark, gone. LA, wants no more to do with anyone. They've never met, they don't know each other. She's never even heard of him. But for some reason, in Sabrina's crazy mind, she believes that Sophie's been planted there, even though she chose to hire her. She's been planted there by Mark, and Mark's out to destroy their lives. Right? So this is where this story's going. So, like I say, poor Sophie had never even heard of this guy. So it begins with Sabrina basically interrogating Sophie. That's where this starts. And she starts asking her, you can tell us if you know him, and it's all very nicey at first, but it starts to become these interrogations. They start lasting for hours at a time. And poor Sophie's there like, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I just want to do my job. I love your children. I don't know what you're on about. She genuinely didn't. She knew nothing of this man. This was all in Sabrina's mind. But Sabrina herself believed that Sophie was lying. So she would get angrier and angrier. There was just no convincing this woman that Sophie and Mark were not in cahoots. She was absolutely obsessed. I've heard her likened to, what was that, Fatal Attraction? I've heard her likened to that character. So it didn't just stay as interrogations, which it never does it? It then escalates to physical attacks on Sophie. Now Sam, you might be thinking, well, where's Sam when this is happening to this really timid, small girl? Where's he? Why is he not protecting her? Well, he was there. He was there. He wasn't off on his months thing. She wasn't doing it when he was gone. He was there. And at first, he just sort of turned a blind eye to it and pretend it wasn't happening. Now, I know it looks quite big, but it's still a 2-bed flat. How much can you turn a blind eye to a girl being beaten in your home by your missus over a man who finished with her years beforehand? But she started to convince Sam that this was real. This is how manipulative this woman really was. And I believe he was a bit of a pushover. No excuse for him either. So like I say, he'd ignore it at first. He'd turn a blind eye to it. Then he began to join in himself. Now, regardless of what a coward he is, he's still a man. And he started punching her, slapping her, kicking her, whipping her with cables. This escalated to such brutal beatings of this poor young girl. Just awful. They would literally sit her down for hours, and if she wasn't answering the way they wanted her to answer, she'd just get punched or kicked or just treated awful. And then we escalate even more to not paying her anymore. Sabrina decided she didn't want to pay her anymore, even though Sophie was working 7 days a week. She wasn't getting a day off. She was working 7 days a week for, it was said, in excess of 80 hours a week. And I'd worked it out. That's over 12-hour shifts every single day. On top of then the mental, just the mental abuse of, can you imagine waiting to hear your name called, to be sat down, to be asked this same line of questions again and again and again? It must have been blowing her brain. And then Sabrina, she wasn't happy because she wasn't getting the answers that she felt she needed from Sophie. So she decided, well, I'm beating her. That's not working. I'm not paying her anymore. Apparently, it reduced down to about £60 a month, and then it went down to zero quite quickly. So then she thought, okay, I'm not feeding you anymore now. I'm not going to feed you anymore. She started starving her then. This poor girl. Okay. So we get to around May 2017. So she's been here about, what would that be, about 16, 17 months? Not even that. Yeah, about 16 months. It reminds me, I don't know about you, we done it a few weeks ago, or it might even be a bit longer ago than that, but the Christy Bamu case, where the these siblings from France came to visit their older sister. It just has an air of that, and not even just the France thing. It was just no, they could be from anywhere. It's just the fact that you've got this girl in a country, she doesn't speak the language. It's not like she can go to a neighbour and be like, how, she can't speak the language. And Sabrina and Sam would only speak to her in French, apparently. So she couldn't even learn. Oh, just awful. So Sophie, in the end, like I say, around May 2017, so it had been going on for months at this point, she gets in touch with her mum. Now, she couldn't find her passport, but she gets in touch with her mum and she begs her, please send me some money. I want to come home. It doesn't say if she went into specifics, but she was begging her. She said, I want to come home. So Sophie's mum not only sends money, but she sends a ticket, a plane ticket for Sophie to get home. Sophie never gets that money, and she never gets that plane ticket. They obviously intercepted it somewhere along the lines, and then Sabrina, realizing what's going on and that she's obviously been in contact with her mum, she phones Sophie's mum, and she basically says that Sophie has stole a diamond ring, and until that matter is resolved, we can't let her leave. That's my child. But I suppose it's, Sophie's 21 at this point. Maybe, I don't know, maybe her mum thought, I don't know. She would have known her better than that, surely. So I was very confused by that. But, maybe she thought she's a grown woman. Maybe she thought it'd be resolved very quickly. Maybe she thought, well, my daughter wouldn't have stole anything. So, they're going to find this diamond ring very quickly. And this will all be resolved. So, this is how manipulative Sabrina was. Said there was a chip shop owner from around the area where they were living. And Sophie, maybe she got a 15-minute walk down the road to the shop for her or whatever. Maybe it was just when she was going to the chip shop for them. But he said that when he first saw Sophie, she was quite vibrant and she was young. She looked quite sweet. She looked quite happy. And he said he noticed after a few months that she'd started to get quite frail looking. She always looked on the verge of tears. And then the one day he asked her outright, and he says, are you okay? Is anything wrong? And she told him in some way, I don't know how she managed to, maybe she pieced words together, I'm not too sure, but she got across that Sabrina had been beating her. And he asked, well, why? What's going on? And she says, because I dropped some butter on the floor. And that's why she was beaten that day. Because she dropped some butter on the floor. It just seems now it wasn't even just the interrogations that were causing this. They were just beating her for the sake of it. Just for the sake of it now. Just awful. So, we come to the 20th of September 2017. So, just a few months after she'd asked her mum to help her and everything else. So, there's a fire burning. We know where this is going, don't we? There's a fire burning around around where they live, and the neighbours are like, what's that smell? There's a real bad smell. And they happened to notice it was coming from the back of their flat, and they had they had access to the garden, Sabrina and Sam did, and the neighbours noticed it was coming from there. So they've called the fire brigade and stuff, and when the fire brigade turn up and they realise it's coming from that garden, they go in, and sure enough, there's a barbecue going, and there's some chicken on this barbecue and stuff. Sabrina and Sam are there, and they're like, what's going on? They're like, oh, we're just doing this. But the fire brigade look, and there's actually kind of a bonfire going on at the other end of the garden. And they look around the garden. They happen to notice there's some glasses, broken glasses, on the side of a table, and some clothes thrown on the floor. So they go over to where this bonfire is going, and it absolutely stinks. And they obviously get the hose out. They get the fire under control, and they put it out. And they're asking again, what was this? What was you burning here? And Sam turned around, he says it was a sheep's carcass. All right, okay, that's an everyday occurrence. But he said that's what it was, and that's what the smell is. But, we'll stop, and, we won't do it again and stuff. And then fire brigade just thought, I don't know about this. It just seems a bit dodgy. So something catches the firefighter's eye. And he saw it, and he starts going around the ashes and stuff. And he notices finger bones and a nose bone. And he's like, with the glasses and the clothes, he's like, that's it now. That's it. Called the police. Police come out. Sam and Sabrina are arrested there and then. And they're like, there's something very, very odd going on here. So when the fire had all gone out and they go through the embers and stuff. There was enough, I don't know how to word this. There was enough evidence, let's say, to ID Sophie. It had been Sophie, not a sheep's carcass. It was Sophie's body they were burning in their back garden while they were barbecuing chicken. And they, from what they'd managed to get out, like I say, with the post-mortem, it was found that she'd had 4 broken ribs, a broken jaw bone, a broken sternum. So that was what they managed to find. I presume it was through the bones. Obviously, she was too badly burnt for a definitive cause of death, but the lungs were inflated. Her lungs were inflated. So it looked like it could possibly be from a drowning of some sort. So trying to piece this together and realise what's happened to this poor girl. The police, when they're looking around the flats, they're not finding Sophie's passport. It came out afterwards that possibly they'd got rid of that months beforehand. So they were never letting her go. Okay, so on the 5th of January 2018, Sam gave a statement to the police. And what he said happened was Sophie accidentally drowned in the bath, right, while she was being interrogated. I will let that little bit go. And she was being interrogated about Mark Walton, because don't forget, this man still kind of believes that this is real, that perhaps she was in cahoots with this Mark. She's got Sam absolutely convinced that that was a real thing. No excuse or reasoning or anything of what he did, but that was that was his excuse. It was like, yeah, we were interrogating her because she's in cahoots with this guy and we wanted to know what was going on. Right. So he started to say that what they would do, they would put her in a cold bath for hours and hours and hours while she was being interrogated in this bathroom. And if they didn't like the answer she gave, so it escalated from just beating her for a wrong answer, they would dunk her under the water for ages and then pick her up, ask her again, didn't like the answer, down she go. It just, the torture of this poor girl. So she's been beaten, she's been starved, she's not being paid, she's been worked the hours that aren't legal anywhere. She's, well, certainly not in this country, but like say, being starved, she's being drowned. I can't even get my head around what this poor girl was going through when she thought she was coming over here for like this amazing adventure. So, and he says that on that day he punched her so hard that she went under the water unconscious. Okay, he reckons he tried to revive her, and when he couldn't, he put her in a suitcase, put her in the suitcase at the back of the flat. Now, don't forget, there's 2 little boys in this flat when all this is going on. So she was put in the suitcase. He'd spoken to Sabrina, who'd been asleep, and they agreed, well, we've got to get rid of her. And they both admitted that, yes, they were there when they burnt her, but it was him that had been there when she'd actually passed. So He tried to plea, giving a plea of manslaughter. That was rejected. Of course it was. But now you might be saying, well, what's going on with Sabrina? Oh, she was letting Sam take the fall for everything. She was basically saying, I don't know, I just woke up and there she was in the bath, dead, and I didn't know what to do. And he told me I had to help him get rid of her. She was the real damsel in distress. This woman's just just a real crazy lady. Crazy. I went to say lady. I actually went to say lady then. Just, bottom of the barrel. So we get to the 15th of March 2018 and Sam changes his story because he realises she's hanging him out to dry. It's not we're in it together to the end. Oh no, she's hanging him out to dry. And he'd been protecting her, so he's like, actually, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what really happened. So we go back to the 15th of September 2017. Right. And Sam says that he actually witnessed Sabrina beating Sophie so badly, not only with her hands and her feet and anything else she had, he witnessed her beating her beyond what he'd seen before with a cable. He hadn't seen it that bad before. And it had got to the point where over the next couple of days, she couldn't even walk. She couldn't even walk. So that's what had happened. She struggled to walk after that. Now, then he says on the 18th of September, so 3 days later, he'd been asleep and it was him that had woken up to Sabrina saying, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? Just over and over again. And when he got out of bed and went to the bathroom, where Sam had he'd been earlier, where he knew Sophie had been earlier and he'd been helping, but he just decided to go to bed. When he went back in the bathroom, Sophie was in the bath, not breathing. And he did apparently try CPR. It didn't work. And that's when Sabrina demanded that he get a suitcase and put her in it. So it was actually the other way round to what he'd said. But he thought they were in it together. And then when he realised I had nothing to do with any of it. I didn't touch her at all. He knew he had to come forward and say the whole thing. That's why we know everything that's happened. Not just that, though. Not just that reason that we know what happened. They found on their phones 18 plus recordings of audio and video of them recording their handiwork. Don't they always do this? How many times do I say this, that they do that? They always have to have a memento, don't they? And with us having phones and being able to video right in our hands, they can't resist it, can they? So what you could actually hear on this audio was the slaps and the whips being inflicted on Sophie, along with all the questioning. Sabrina, and what Sabrina was actually caught saying in one of the recordings was, tell us the truth. I'll protect you from Mark, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll kill him and I'll eat him raw. This is what can you imagine being that poor girl hearing this woman talk? And it was said that when Sophie would go out on errands for the family, when she was still allowed out of there, when she'd come in, Sabrina would be like, you smell of him. I can smell him on you. Where have you been? Where's the house you meet up in? Shit, this guy wasn't even in the country. He'd never heard of Sophie, but she was so obsessed. I think maybe she just couldn't get her head around that he'd finished with her. I don't know. But this obsession led to the murder of this young girl. Or maybe it was the power of having, maybe it was having a power over a young girl. I don't know, but it certainly intermingled. Now, and also it was heard on this tape that she threatened Sophie with 40 years. She would have 40 years in our prison in England because she was going to say that Sophie was molesting the boys. And it was only then, it was at that line, that Sophie gave her what she wanted in that audio. Now, sorry, in that video. Now, obviously, we can't see that video. We haven't seen that video. But what there is out there is actually a still of the video. And it's Sophie, and she's kind of sat in front of a fireplace. And when you see the early photos of this girl, and then the photo that I'm telling you about, oh, it's heartbreaking. It's so upsetting because, like I say, she just looks so healthy and pretty and vibrant, and then in such a short amount of time, she looked like she'd aged 50 years. She was only 21. She was 21 years of age. And she looks like, she just looks broken. Absolutely broken. You want to go away and have a look after the story. You know, she just looks absolutely broken. But basically she's ground down so badly that she admits to doing something. And basically she was convinced into saying that she drugged Sam. So Mark, this person she doesn't even know, so Mark could have his way, not with Sabrina, with Sam. The way this woman's mind was working. Apparently that was a step over the line, though, for Sabrina. And she was murdered shortly after that. So after months and months and months and months of pummeling this girl for information, when she gives you something finally because she can't take anymore, then you kill her. Just awful, awful. There was a note found when the police had been looking through, when they were looking for Sophie's passport, and it basically said, why me? I need someone to help me stop them. Or I need help to stop them. And I just thought, oh, it's just awful. So we come to the 30th of March, 2018, and their trial, the trial went on for 2 months. Mark actually came over from LA to testify against Sabrina to say just how crazy this woman actually was. A witness came forward who we don't know the name of, who actually said that, I'm presuming maybe they lived in the flats, but I don't know. Could have been a neighbour, I don't know. But saying that they heard the screams, they heard Sophie screaming, they could hear splashing, and then they could hear either Sam or Sabrina basically saying, breathe, breathe. So it's like, why not phone somebody? But yes, basically, Sam and Sabrina are both found guilty. What else could they be found? Guilty of the murder of Sophie. They were both given life with a minimum of 30 years, which again, like the other day, quite unusual. Don't get me wrong, I'm not happy with that. I think it's great. They should never get out at all. This woman's crazy. But it's for the British justice system, normally it's 8 years and you're out. So they both got 30 years. Nothing to say they'll get out after 30 years either. It's just that's the minimum. Now, Sabrina actually done a letter of apology. It was just, do you want to know what I've written down? Is my mum still on here? Because I actually wrote down, no lie, there it is. I actually wrote down about the letter that she wrote, self-serving bitch. That's what I actually wrote down. Because all the letter, now, had it had anything in there, I would tell you. All it was, I feel so sad. I can't live with myself. I. Absolute disgrace of a woman. And I don't want to give her any more than that. Nothing. She gets nothing. Sophie's mum basically said, no God will ever forgive you, to Sabrina. And to Sabrina. And Sophie's dad actually said, which was really sad, he says, I'll never get to walk her down the aisle. I'll never get to see her children, which is just heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. That there were those poor parents, they sent, they watched their child go off to live her dream. And that's what they got. Just awful. So sad. So sad. But yeah, that was the absolutely awful Sophie Lionnet story. Oh, it's just, do you know what? After, please go away and have a look at sort of the photos that it shows you of how she was such a pretty girl. And then there's just that one photo. And she sat in front of like a fireplace. And you would never recognise it that it's the same girl. You would never recognise. And you wouldn't think she was 21. Just absolutely. Oh, just so sad. So sad. So, yeah, that was the case. But I hadn't heard of it. And I just thought, I really want to do this because why? Because you couldn't get over a man leaving you because you were crazy. So you take it out on a poor young girl who's there to look after your children. Just, absolutely. I was about to say animal again, pair of them, but no, I'm sick. I'm not calling people animals anymore. Monsters, that's what we'll call them. We'll call them monsters. But yes, that was her story. So sad. Sharon, did I see you jumping? Did I see you? How are you? I just finished though. But you can watch it back. You can see me have a little bit of a meltdown, probably 10, 15 minutes in. It all goes pear, but I think I pulled it back. I think so. I hope I did. Because it was just such a sad case. And I was just feeling terrible. I felt like I was really doing a bad job on her story. So I hope I managed to pull it back. But yeah, you can have a watch and you can see me just lose it over the term financial analysis. That was all that did it. That was literally all that did it to cause me to go, oh my God, what's going on? And my brain, what it is even though you'll see me talking and look like I'm continuing, my brain's still over here going, oh, I really got that wrong. And my brain can't catch up. See, that's how I know I'd never be any good at oh, thank you all. But I know I'd never be good at, being a singer or something, or on stage in front of thousands of people. One wrong word, or if I messed up my song, and that's it. I'd just stand there with the mic going, don't know what to do right now. So yeah, I'm glad you're all so forgiving. You really are. I think it is. It just sends, oh, Mum, you're still here. How are you? Have you got sound? Have you got sound, Mum? Have you? I did see them asking you earlier. I'd grashed her. Well, I technically didn't grash you. Courtney grashed you the other day because she said that she knew that you watched it without sound. So, hi, Natalie. Have you just joined too? Oh, you're all late tonight. I'm all done. But it's lovely to see you all. It's lovely to see you. So if you got sound now, okay, everyone. Oh, Phil, thank you. I wasn't. He's so nice, though. He's so kind. So have you been watching, Natalie? Oh, you're ever so good. Did I see someone get bumped off the channel earlier? Ethan, did I see him get jumped off? I thought he might have been a bit with the telling us straight away about what he was wearing, but I thought, okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. Takes all sorts. But yeah, I did notice him get bumped off. Did he say something inappropriate? Oh, goodness me. We're getting them lately, aren't we? But yes, I know you're all there. You're all jumping quick. But so I need to go quickly because I know my mum's going to go. And the reason I'm saying I need to go quickly, I keep on asking her to stay for my jingle. So one, Mum, I don't know if you see. Oh, you did see this. I'm just flashing it again. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, so if you're watching tomorrow, or you're watching whatever you're watching, if you want to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. And Mum, are you ready? If you don't want to join my Patreon and you just want to come through on the live, excellent. Otherwise, can you like, comment, and subscribe, guys? Like, comment, and subscribe. Look, comment, subscribe, please. Look, comment, and subscribe, guys. Look, comment, and subscribe, guys, please. Look, comment, subscribe. That's my jingle. That's all it is. There we go. It is Nan. No, this is Nan. It's this. But I was showing him my elbow earlier, Mum. I was showing him and I was saying I need to not look, comment, subscribe. But I still managed to do it. I still did it. But yes, that's my jingle, Mum. That's all it is. That's all I've ever wanted you to watch. No, I did think you were bad, Warwick. Yeah, you do. I think you might need to. I think these have been trying to do it for ages, Mum. Yeah, I did think you were bad, Warwick, but yeah, it seemed a bit of an oddball. Flash? No. I couldn't have someone flashing. I couldn't have that. Hips better. It's my elbow now, Sharon. I've been showing it. I don't. My mum weren't on earlier. That's it there, Mum. Not me bone, as Warwick says. It's so natural, but I'm just trying to get it. Can you see there? That's it. So I was just saying earlier, I'll have to be careful, and I'm still doing it. Still doing the elbows. So look, comment, subscribe, guys. Oh, we've had a really, really big... The night I mess up and we've had yous all on. Thank you. You've all stayed on. And Mum's still here. This is excellent. Do you know what? It's here that it's sore, but it's the bone. It's really hard. Had the needle a 3 months ago though, and it fixed it, but it's back again. So yeah. So yes, thank you all for joining me. I'm gonna, Mum, I promise. I'm gonna phone them tomorrow. But thank you all. Thank you, Mum. Thank you, Tiff. I think I saw, obviously I've seen Natalie, Sharon, Phil, of course, Kelly, Hayley. Have I missed anyone? Have I missed anyone? Sophie was here, wasn't she? Sophie was here. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Can she hear me? Can she hear me? Look, comment, subscribe. I'll be back next Tuesday with you all for a request. I think it's Kelly's request. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And yeah, I'll see you all. I'll see you all. I want to look through the comments and see what actually kicked it all off. I'll have a look after. But yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And I will see you all next Tuesday. See you all soon. Thank you all again. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.